You are going to give a talk or presentation to a room full of people, and you want to illustrate it with some slides. But there are options and there are rules. What are they? Here are a few of the programs more commonly used for looking at pictures. Not all are suitable for presenting pictures on screen to an audience. Indeed, most Microsoft picture viewing software is pretty inadequate for that purpose, in my view. I will spend no more than a few seconds dealing with those readily available on home computers. Firstly, there is Windows Live Photo Gallery, which I'd call a Mickey Mouse program. It has a pan and zoom feature. I very rarely use any pan or zoom except with live video, and then very sparingly. It adds almost nothing to a presentation. The slideshow feature has fixed time intervals for each slide. It's not really suitable for our purposes. Next is Windows Photo Viewer, again quite inadequate for screen presentations. It displays all the images as a slideshow with a fixed 6-second delay between each. A basic but adequate program for those not technologically confident is Microsoft Office Picture Manager. Options there are a bit better. All images for presentation should be in one folder and named alphanumerically. The Picture Manager will then screen them in alphanumerical order. This is the standard view, and all images should be the same aspect ratio and the same physical dimensions. Best quality images only should be used. Here is a view in Microsoft Office Picture Manager favoured by some who will want to show images out of sequence. You can jump from one view to a different one using the icons at the top left-hand side. This is the third option with Microsoft Office Picture Manager. Note all slides are named alphanumerically and are the same size. One series of images can be used over a couple of presentations. We can open the image folder this way and select a different starting point. From then on, the forward and reverse controls will just show the images in the following sequences full screen. Whatever the display program used, some rules need to be observed in compiling the slide library. friend used this slide in a presentation on the rise of Islam. She generously allowed me to use it here as an example. The map is colourful, but really too busy. Many of the place names are irrelevant, as most would recognise the general geography anyway. Primarily, place names to be shown on the map should only be those mentioned in the commentary. This map is another unfortunate example. What you might find quite adequate on the computer screen is hopeless for a screen presentation to an audience. On this map, the place names and the legends are far too small, and I have experimented to produce this. A little improvement for interpreting the caliphates, but really something like the following sequence using transition features in PowerPoint would have had more impact. If you have the ability, it is worth setting up a base map and then adding changes to it over subsequent slides so that the scale and appearance has some continuity. This is the first change with a PowerPoint slide transition. Now the second change with a PowerPoint transition. And a third change with a PowerPoint transition. I know next to nothing about the spread of Islam, so these maps rely on information on the internet. I show them here merely as an example. You can see that this map needs help if it is to be displayed to advantage on a screen presentation slide. The original text is unreadable at 14 point. My notes on the left-hand side are 32 point, but in a room for 20 people, it is still a bit small to read comfortably. 36 or 40 point would be much better. It's a waste of time putting this on the screen as it is unreadable. This is a slide I made for a presentation on territoriality. Too busy to be a good diagram, and 32 point text is a bit small for a larger audience. How long would it take for the audience to take it all in? About a minute, which means you have to interrupt your commentary for a minute to give the audience time to concentrate. It is not good. This slide has good sized text, but it's hopeless on a busy background. Picture backgrounds and text are rarely a good combination. If picture backgrounds are used, they must not compete. Very simple, pale backgrounds can be used if they are required to provide some visual continuity in a presentation, but it's usually better to avoid them. This is a feature of PowerPoint 2010 onwards, the presenter view. This is what the presenter will see on his screen, but the audience only sees the main screen. All windows are adjustable for size. The text window can be enlarged and text can be enlarged, making paper notes redundant. A third screen is to remind the presenter of what is on the next slide. Note that in PowerPoint you can also use small video clips instead of still images. The presenter view again. The windows here have been adjusted to allow more room for bigger text. the audience still sees the main window at normal size. I used this short video clip in a presentation on the territorial imperative. It provides lively interest for the audience, a good wake-up device if one is needed. To sum up, the essentials for an acceptable screen presentation are as follows. Use high-quality images, preferably all of the same aspect ratio. Text slides should only have minimum information in simple sentences, at least in 36 or 40-point font size. It is preferable to introduce sentences one at a time in a series of slides to minimise time spent by the audience reading. They are there to hear you, not read the screen. Pause your commentary and allow the audience time to read newly screened words. Don't use dominating busy pictures for slide backgrounds. Don't use book pages, maps or diagrams that have not been reformatted for screen use. Don't read from the screen, just use a pointer if necessary to draw attention to something. The screen presentation has only a support role. It is not the main event. If I were to be asked what else, I would suggest don't rush a presentation. Speak at about 2/3 the normal conversational speed, especially when reading from a script, with pauses at appropriate places so that your audience can absorb what it is you have to say. The next tutorial, PowerPoint 2013 Tutorial 1, introduces that topic in greater depth. On YouTube, there are also tutorials on a number of other topics, ranging from word processing to image manipulation, audio recording and movie making. Use the YouTube link displayed here on the screen. This ends the tutorial.